don't forget, it ain't the first 48, bro. It's 60 minutes, bro.
You come at the king, you best not miss.
You're now locked into Zone 32.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. Specifically, the Jonathan Ogden episode 75, baby. It's a trio before the season opener. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. But we have some tragic news to get into before we say what's up.
You're not going to introduce our special. You're not going to introduce our special guest, Jonathan Ogden, for the Jonathan Ogden episode. Jonathan, say what's up to the people. Oh, he's not here. Never mind. All right. I was pretending that he was on the episode. You missed the joke. It's okay.
That's fair. But nonetheless, shut the fuck up.
It's not your fault.
Anyway,
it is your fault, but it's not your fault.
Before we get into the episode, we do have some tragic news to get into. Old Grant, after realizing he did not make the practice squad for the Ravens, he decided to do what I do every week, and he decided to die. So, R.I.P. Grant. Be selling butterfly t-shirts in his memory.
I'm hearing it was an accident with his lawnmower and that he ran over a cord and just, bad things happen. So let's be safe, everybody.
He got hit by some cell phone shrapnel.
Yeah, got hit by some cell phone shrapnel.
Never run over a cord with your lawnmower while it's plugged in. Bad things will happen.
This is from a certified electrician. So that means it's legit. You have to.
Very bad. Remember the other, not Joe Pesci, but the other one in Home Alone 2. You'll wind up like him. So don't do that. Anyway,
very, very, very
episode 75.
There we go.
That's right.
Off to a hot start.
It's a December reference. We'll say that. But anyway, we're going to get into the episode because the season is here. The preseason's all done with. Ravens play on Sunday, about damn time, and the game counts. It's a season opener against the Houston Texans. They've already announced the jersey combination for the week. It's the classic. Will was right this morning. Purple jerseys, white pants. My white and purple was wrong, but hey, doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm going to start with the man with the uniform combination, Will.
Yep.
Because of this, and because of the record we had with purple jersey, white pants, what are you expecting with the game? Are you expecting a hex because of the white pants, or do you think we'll be fine because it's the lowly Texans?
No, I think we'll be fine. And of all the white pants combinations, the purple jersey, white pants is it could be worse. I believe, what was it? Let me check my tweet. Let's see. We are 9-5 with Lamar starting in the purple jerseys, white pants. The only caveat is we're 6-5 at home. So all 5 of those losses have been at home. Now, I mean, they wear it at home pretty frequently. That's the only place they ever wear this combination for the most part. Obviously, there's 3 games where they didn't. But it could be worse. White is horrible. It's
I mean, we tried real hard to get those, taken out of rotation. We went to a pretty, somebody with a lot of authority in the Ravens organization, Lacey, try to get them removed. So did not work, but we'll keep fighting the good fight.
No. Yeah. The white and the black white are both 33%. So those are loser combinations, but the purple and white is the only winning combination with white pants. So there is that. I think we'll be okay. And again, it's week 1 against a rookie quarterback in Baltimore. It's a good week to not have Marlon Humphrey. Who knows if he's. I'm hoping he's back by next week for the Bengals. But if there was going to be a week where it was the least threatening to our derail our season or something, week 1 with a rookie quarterback in Baltimore,
and they're missing 3 offensive linemen, I believe.
3
starting offensive linemen.
Exactly.
So that should, if Marlon's not there, but your pass rush eats, like, you're not going to miss Marlon, which is good.
Yep.
I'm expecting huge games out of OA and Ajabo. Ajabo owns CJ Stroud. So I feel like that's just something good in our direction again. Tank Dell's never played an NFL snap. CJ Stroud's never played an NFL snap. Nico Collins, Michigan legend, is good, but again, he's not a established wide receiver. Like, there's really Damian Pierce is a solid player, but I like our front 7. There's really nothing about them offensively that concerns me too much. I don't think that they suck, but I don't think that they're going to have an easy time moving the ball just because of how inexperienced they are.
Right. Exactly.
And I think especially with the offensive line issues, I mean, that's the one thing with rookie quarterbacks that you want to protect them because they need that extra time because they're not used to the NFL speed.
Yep.
And, you know, they're not going to have that opportunity because they don't have, you know, a healthy offensive line. So I again, you know, Jersey combo aside, like, yeah, you know, you can do the purple pantsalytics and that probably matters when you're playing a good team, but I don't think the Texans are a good team yet.
Right. Well, and again, it's still a winning combination. It's just not.
Yeah.
And of all the visually, I would say it's the best looking. I mean, people love the white. Some people do. It's sour to me because of the.
Yeah, it's just I don't like it.
Yeah, the losing. So.
Black-white is boring, and white is just bad.
Yeah. Well, and I want to be clear too. I think I may have said this on previous episode, but I think the Texans are actually a pretty good team. Are very talented anyway. So I think they're gonna.
But I fully agree with your point on that when you said earlier is that they're a team that by week 8 is going to be a problem.
Right.
But you
and
know,
it's a really weak,
yeah.
And it's a weak division they're in. So like I don't know. Like I see a lot of people with these projections of like the Titans being a playoff team and shit. Like I think the Titans are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Personally,
I really think that whole division is going to be, you know, last place team's going to be, you know, 6-11, and first place team's going to be 9-8, and that it's going to be they're all kind of packed in there. So
I have another hot AFC South take, and that is that the Jaguars are going to be the big regressor this year. A lot of people have these high expectations for them. I just think they're kind of in a spot where they could fall on their face. I will never believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
so it makes sense to me that people have, you know, big expectations for them because they kind of shocked everybody last year. They sort of came on out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody really expected them to be good. They went out and they added a few pieces, specifically Calvin Ridley to the receiving core. Like that's supposed to help Trevor Lawrence moving forward. Like I understand all the logic, but they also have to play a first place schedule.
Right.
And I don't think they're built. I don't think they're built for that.
And people are talking about Trevor Lawrence like he's some kind of fucking god, and it's just I mean he had his moments last year, but like you know people talk about the comeback in the playoff game, but he threw 5 fucking interceptions in the first half.
You remember early Andrew Luck who would throw a ton of interceptions, but he'd also rack up a ton of yards and a ton of touchdowns. That's kind of how I see Trevor Lawrence's year going. Is that if you're you know just looking at yards and touchdowns, like he'll have a solid year, but I think he's going to turn the ball over a ton.
Right.
Like he just, you know, he's going to take those risks. He's got guys to throw to now. And I'm just not, I don't really, it's not that I don't trust him. I'm kind of with you. I think that he's an average NFL quarterback. And I think that his supporting cast can make him look good. But if you're trusting him to win games for you, he's gonna, you know, he's got that like Jay Cutler streak in him where, you know, sometimes he's going to make those crazy throws. He's going to have that crazy fourth quarter and he's going to, you know, win you a game.
Yeah.
But just as often, he's going to throw the game away.
Right. Yeah. The people talking about him before him, it was Justin Herbert that people, and they still do with him, but he's kind of getting that Justin Herbert treatment of last year now, where people are putting the cart before the horse, I think, a bit with him, where they're looking at his best moments and acting like that's him in totality when it's not.
Well, because I mean, who watches Chargers games religiously besides Chargers fans? Nobody.
Right.
Who watch Jaguars games besides Jaguars fans? Really nobody.
And what are they comparing it to? You know,
right? Yeah, and like, and when
trash.
the lights are the brightest, I would say that you know his most watched regular season, and this is not biased, but I would say like the Ravens game was probably the most watched regular season game for the Jaguars last year.
Probably.
And he was money in the fourth quarter, and then in the playoff game, he looked great once he got over that horrific start. So I think people remember that, and they don't really remember, like you said, that he threw 4 picks to get to that situation.
He looked like one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. In the first half of that game.
He went from like there were people getting old takes exposed from the first quarter of that game to the third quarter of that game.
Yeah.
Because they were like, Trevor Lawrence isn't built for the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence sucks ass. And then all of a sudden he, you know, fucking lights it up in the second half.
I bet live money line Jaguars at halftime on that game.
Yeah, you had to, because it was like, I'm sure it was some astronomical, you know, like plus 5,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something crazy. It was
you put $10 on that and you won $300, which is,
right.
You know,
yeah.
Can't really beat those kind of odds.
Yeah,
Kevin from The Office, you know, if anybody offers you 10-1 odds on anything, you take it. And you just it's one of those situations you just have to take it sometimes.
Tony is having a very rough game. think we should say that in real time. And
Man,
what a
that's
coincidence!
that's
Grant's not here to answer for it.
yeah. It just seems like Grant is not here when his guys, have some questionable activities.
Yep.
I searched back through all our old episodes, by the way, and I definitely found the episode where he talked about the quilt and Sauce Gardner, and I somewhat took it out of context, but he did not guarantee 0 touchdowns, but he guaranteed not a lot of touchdowns would be given up by Sauce Gardner, and he gave up touchdowns. So just want to correct the record on that. That was fully a
Didn't he only give up 1?
2 or 3. But again, it's one of those weird things where so he gave up 1 in man coverage, and then he gave up a couple that he got credited for the touchdown in zone because he was the closest guy, but was that really his guy, or did somebody blow coverage so bad that he ended up being the closest guy to a receiver? I don't know. I don't like Sauce Gardner, so I'll blame it on him. But I'll be reasonable here and say that, like, if you want to argue against that, I won't hold it against you.
He's also, I mean, the argument is also that he's a great coverage corner. So, if we're talking about zone,
he's
zone issues.
such a great coverage corner that his own team doesn't trust him on wide receiver once. Just for the record.
All right, whatever. Let's get back to
let's get back to
it before we get off the rails.
So we went over kind of the defensive side of the ball. I think that will survive Marlon Humphrey not being there. I think that this is just the Texans are inexperienced on offense, and that'll be to our defense's advantage. I think offensively, it might be a bit of a slow start just because this is the first time that you're going to see Lamar under center since December 4th of last year. And this is the first time the starting unit's going to be running Todd Monken's offense. I would not be shocked if the first quarter they kind of look disjointed and, sort of like getting in the rhythm of things. But I think that the farther into the game they go, they're just going to start clicking. This is, everything Todd Monken says is right. Like, it's just like I'm like finally a fucking offensive coordinator that I don't want to reach through the screen and murder. And even he had a quote about Patrick Ricard today talking about how he's a invaluable member and he's going to figure out how to get him on the field because you use guys like that. And he's been the I want to spread the ball around, get the ball to the hot hand, which makes me think that he's not going to force feed Odell. He's not going to force feed Mark Andrews. He's not going to force feed Zay. He's going to just throw it to who's open. And even running back wise, if it's not working with J.K. Dobbins, sort of the mix of inside and outside the tackles and, pounding up the middle with Gus is what's working. He's just going to stick with that. So I'm very confident in our offense. I think that when this is all said and done, like, this is a very easy win for the Ravens, like, 2, 3, 4 score win. Mm-hmm. I don't see the Texans having the experience to, deal with the Ravens right now. And this is also one of those, I think we win fairly easily. And this could potentially be one of those wins that nobody cares about right now. And everybody's like, well, no shit, the Ravens should win. But when you look back at it in week 15 or week 16, it's going to look a lot better because, like Will said, I think the Texans are going to make a play for that division.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the Ravens are going to win the game. I'm glad we're seeing the Texans this early in the season because I think, we're going to see I think they are this year's Jaguars.
I mean, the only team in that division that I think has that kind of ability that they could be a dangerous team towards the end of the year is the Colts as well. And that's all on Anthony Richardson because, again, he's a freak athlete and he's got a coach that, turned Jalen Hurts into something good. So he's got experience with a quarterback with that kind of skill set, except for Anthony Richardson's got a better arm and is faster than Jalen Hurts. Right. And they got a decent wide receiver core there. And, if Jonathan Taylor comes back and stops that whole holdout nonsense, like they could be a problem. They have a solid offensive line. They're a good team.
They have the foundation of a good team, but
right,
we'll see.
Right, and so they're another one that if Anthony Richardson clicks, like they could be a problem.
Right, yeah. The only thing I'm very sure of going into the season is that the Titans are going to be fucking terrible.
And again, I think we talked about this in an earlier episode with Mike Vrabel of because the Texans look so bad on paper. Titans look so bad on paper. This is almost where Mike Vrabel excels. Is that he might turn them into an 8-9 team, and realistically, they have no business winning more than 5 games. So who knows? I mean, maybe DeAndre Hopkins, fucking breaks out and does great there. Maybe Mayo drinking fuckwad Will Levis, takes Ryan Tannehill's job. and Derrick Henry goes off, and maybe they're an 8-win team, or maybe they're a 9-win team, and they challenge for the division. It wouldn't shock me, but I just don't think that they're very good.
Yeah, I think personally, I just think they're the worst team in their division. Their
Yeah,
offensive line, their offensive line is
paper.
horrible
Yeah,
offensive line.
on paper, they are clearly the worst team in that division.
Well, that's the biggest issue to me is the offensive line because they don't have a quarterback. I mean, no quarterback can really overcome a bad offensive line, but they had last year probably a better offensive line than they have now, and
I mean, they're
no quarterback could succeed there.
Lawan quit football to be a full-time podcaster because he didn't want to play for the Titans anymore.
Right.
Like, let's call a spade there. That's a pretty bad look for the franchise.
Yeah.
Again, firing the GM after the AJ Brown trade, they clearly don't like Treylon Burks. They clearly weren't happy with that exchange. Their wide receiver room is horrific. Their tight end room is horrific. Derrick Henry is a monster, but there's only so much you can do when a team's stacking 9 in the box. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna.
And he's got nobody blocking for him.
Yeah, he's got nobody blocking for him. He's got no threat of a passing game. Again, I think Will Levis, everybody hyped him up as potentially like a number 1 pick, and everybody just realized he's not that good. He's Zach Wilson. He looks great in shorts. He's a guy that makes all those throws in practice when it's an uncovered wide receiver, and he's got amazing physical gifts, and it never translates to the game.
Yeah, I don't understand where this Will Levis love came from.
It's literally like it's the Jamarcus Russell shit. I mean, you remember Jamarcus Russell could get down on one knee and throw the ball 70 yards, and everybody would their jaws would drop.
Right.
And that's like the Will Levis effect is that, he can make that throw in practice when he's not wearing pads. He's wearing shorts where he, rolls out across his body and bombs the ball 80 yards down the field right into somebody's chest. But in a game, he's not that guy. No. I mean, again, he was at University of Kentucky and was not good. So,
right.
The game film does not match what you see in practice. But I think that people kind of get caught up in the, underwear Olympics and see what he does there. And they're like, oh shit, this guy's got amazing arm talent.
Chiefs I won't tell you guys because you're a little bit behind, but
it's 4th and 2 right now. I don't know what's happening. I'm excited now.
A bad thing happened.
Bad thing happened to the Lions.
Oh no.
Yep.
It's all good.
He was okay. No, you're right.
All right, so I'm going to predict this. It's a blocked kick, but it's coming back.
No.
Nope.
Negative.
All right, got the punt away. Oh, he's going to take this to the house, but it's going to be a block in the back. No, fumble. Okay, not a fumble though.
Not a fumble.
Yep, correct.
All right,
fair. He got bundled.
He did.
Bundled.
It looked like he tried to hurdle somebody, and it didn't work out too well.
No.
He got hit low, and then his elbow saved his life.
Yeah, he got hit low, and then he was flipped upside down.
Oh yeah, ground force.
Yep.
That
yeah, elbow was down.
Very, very, very clearly.
Yeah.
Do you want to do score predictions?
Do we want to make some player predictions? Like I think we should do this every week. A new little feature. Each one of us should pick one, and we can pick the same player, but each one of us should make a prediction about one player's stat line.
All right,
any player.
So I actually have 2. I'm going to go with a Ravens player, and I'm going to go with a a Texans player here. So right now, Zay Flowers on FanDuel, 60+ yards receiving is plus 220. I would hammer that. I think Zay Flowers kind of has like a Hollywood Brown, appearance on the scene in his first game, where Hollywood went for I think like $125 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
60+ yards is safe, and you're doubling your money right there. You really want to get weird with it. It's plus 70 is plus 310, or 70 plus is plus 310, and 80 plus is plus 430. I could easily see him breaking both of those, but if you want to go a little safer, I think 60+ yards is pretty safe. And again, plus 220. And I would take CJ Stroud for 2+ passing touchdowns. That's plus 168. I think that you're going to see a couple garbage time scores from the Texans. And, obviously late in the game, if they're down big, they're going to be passing the ball a lot. We're going to be playing a, prevent zone and not really caring if, they score 14 points. So those would be my two, player prop bets that I would go for.
All right. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a Lamar Jackson prediction here. So we're going to go with Lamar Jackson, 3+ passing touchdowns. That's plus 390 on FanDuel. We're going to go Lamar Jackson, 225+ yards. That's at plus 100. And we're going to go Lamar Jackson under 50.5 rushing yards. It's minus 114. So Let me give you the odds on that parlay if we want to plug that in.
You said the under and then the
Yeah, so it's
and then plus 225. So that is plus
plus 10.
229.
So it's over. So it's 3+ passing touchdowns.
Sorry, I missed the passing touchdown.
225 plus passing yards, under 50.5 rushing yards, plus 10-20 parlay. I think that's a pretty solid bet. So win that one.
We should probably get like a FanDuel code too for the future.
Yeah, we should.
Problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or GAM1234. Only gamble in states where it's legal on FanDuel, or use a VPN like a normal person, but Massachusetts is legal now. So
Ooh, I have a 50% profit boost I'm going to be using on Sunday on that. So I'm boosting that up to plus 1530.
easy money.
Easy money. Jake, what do you got?
Well, unfortunately, the state of California, the state of California does not allow you to gamble, which is hilarious. But the 45th pick in the draft in 2022, David Ojabo, he's going to explode onto the scene again and have his first 2 sacks of the season.
Okay, I actually think that I want to find some numbers on that one because
I'm not seeing individual. I'm not seeing defensive prop bets.
Yeah, I'm not
yet.
either. Yeah, they're not. So we'll follow up on that. We'll follow up on that. But if there was a game that would be pretty ripe for him to make a splash, it's this one going up against a patchwork offensive line, and not having to do too much, just kind of go out there and
And he's used to sacking CJ Stroud. That's that's that game against Ohio State that he had a couple years ago, or was why he was looked at as like a top 15 pick. I mean, that was the game that really kind of cemented him up there. So I wouldn't be shocked. Two sacks is not out of the question.
That's not crazy. That's not crazy. Mike McDonald today, when they asked him how Ojabo can make an impact in the first game, he said, go out there and make them block you, basically. So, I mean, like, that's him basically telling him to stop thinking and just go get after the quarterback.
Well, and so then if they're focusing on blocking Ojabo, like, then you got Owe and Clowney who are going to be dealing with single blocks. That's a fucking problem. Or Matabike or Travis Jones or Michael Pierce, whoever the fuck it is. Like, again, patchwork offensive line. You got two
Roquan and Patrick Queen.
Yeah, this could be a big Patrick Queen day, fucking getting pressure up the middle and disrupting shit. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long day for CJ Stroud. And I think that, when you see the Texans put up points, it's going to be when the game's out of reach already. So I'm not, I think that, again, like this seems kind of like a boring prediction here, but I don't think that the Texans stand much of a chance.
No, me neither. So do we want to get into score predictions?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Jake, you go first.
I'm going Ravens 37-17.
Okay.
I got 41-14 Ravens.
All right. I'm going to go 34-10.
That's fair. So we're all
understandable.
Similar ballpark for how much we win by.
Yep.
Yeah. My real question is if we're up, I don't know, say we're up like 35-0 going into the fourth, do you see Lamar sit out the fourth quarter or does he stay in?
I think he'd sit if we were up in the fourth quarter. 3 scores.
I'm assuming Huntley's inactive on game day, and we're gonna have Josh Johnson showing. But
I'm surprised Huntley isn't on IR.
So the only thing I wonder is that do you think this is a 1-week injury and that they don't foresee needing Huntley in, to actually play, and that if you're bringing a backup quarterback, it's this blowout situation.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they haven't, because again, like if you're playing the Bengals, Tyler Huntley probably gives you, in the Ravens' mind, clearly Tyler Huntley gives you a better chance to win than Josh Johnson. I don't agree with them, but that's why I got to think that they haven't put him on IR, is that they don't want to be without him for 4 weeks for whatever reason.
Well, whatever reason, yeah.
It's again, like, James Prochet was here for 3 years and we couldn't figure out why, but he was here for 3 years. By the way, he's 100% going to sign with the Jets, and he's going to have some crazy fucking game, like 150 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I am going to eat so much shit on Twitter because he's just going to go fucking nuts. That's what Aaron Rodgers does, is he finds some fucking random once a year, and they just, what was the fucking white guy's name that they had forever? Kumaro.
Kumaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just turns nobodies into stars for a couple of weeks, and that's James Prochet written all over it. So
that's definitely possible.
GamerGod29 is going to have that highlight fucking saved and tweeted, 947 times in the next month. So
Who all do they have as wide receivers there? They have
Garrett Wilson,
Garrett
Alan
Wilson,
Lazard,
Alan Lazard. That's who I was forgetting.
CJ
Hardman.
Uzama is their tight end, right?
Yeah, Uzama's their tight end.
Yeah, and then Mecole Hardman. So, I mean, those are their top three. After those three, it's a bunch of, trash, I would say, at wide receiver. So it's you bring in James Prochet to be your wide receiver 4, like
Randall
he's really
Cobb. Did
not
we say
been-
Randall Cobb?
No, but what is Randall Cobb? 93 years old
Yeah,
at
I
this
know.
point?
I'm just saying he's on the team.
Yep.
He's older than you and Grant, so I feel like he's not equipped to play in the NFL.
It does
So,
feel like he's like the same age as me.
yeah,
Damn,
he's
Tony
been
with
around.
another tackle for loss.
Yep.
Ooh,
They're doing everything they can to get that ball to him.
Oh, that end around. Yuck.
and
Yuck.
Grant is good lord.
You know the Kermit the Frog meme where he's sitting in the shower, like
Oh.
crying, rocking back and forth? That's got to be Grant right now.
Dude, the Chiefs wide receivers are terrible.
Yeah, and my minus 5.5 play is not looking great right now.
My
but,
God. How many drops?
you know,
They look a lot different without Kelsey.
Well, here's the
Here's
thing to
Pat-
think about, dude. That receiver room is so much different from what it was 3 or 4 years ago. None of those players are on the roster anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. Not even
Oh,
Byron
that wasn't
Pringle or
a
Demarcus
wide
Robinson.
receiver. That was
that was
McKinnon.
Jared McKinnon,
yeah, Jarrett McKinnon.
Yeah.
running back.
Oh, hold on. All right. Well, hey, you're about to be inside your number, so that's good.
Oh, good. Oh, because they're going to make a field goal here.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They haven't kicked it yet, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd go for it on 4th and 2 and give it to Pacheco because I need some yards and a touchdown.
they have the field goal team out. There's a Lions player has a cramp or something.
Vagina's bothering him.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The LeBron disease.
Speaking of vaginas, do we want to talk about the highest paid vagina in the NFL?
Pennywise.
As of 20 minutes ago or an hour ago, whenever this fucking news broke, that is.
Yep, so hit the clown.
There's going to be a lot of takes on the internet about this. That is going to go down as potentially the worst contract in NFL history. That is going to rival the Deshaun Watson contract in my book. And before we're talking about Joe Burrow signed a 5-year, $275 million extension, $219.01 million guaranteed. I haven't seen a breakdown of the cap hits or anything like that. My take also has nothing to do with the cap. It has everything to do with, again, the Bengals owner is poor. He's not liquid. He doesn't have money. At some point,
They're one of the few sports families where the Bengals are the family business, as opposed to most owners. It's like they are rich before they buy the team,
right?
They run it as like it's fun almost.
I know that they sold the naming rights recently. And I know the daughter's got some side hustle going on now that allegedly is pumping money into the team. And, people point out that they paid Carson Palmer at the same time they paid Ocho Cinco, or that they paid Andy Dalton the same time that they paid AJ Green. But we're not talking cap-wise here, because cap-wise, that's comparable. That's fine. I can understand that you gave Carson Palmer at that point a top-of-the-market QB contract, and you gave Chad
They weren't
Johnson
making this kind of money, though.
Right, but if you look at the AAVs of those contracts, I think Carson Palmer's was like 16 mil a year, and I think at his peak, Chad Johnson's was around 10. Okay, so you're talking 26 mil there, and Joe Burrow's is $55 million guaranteed. I don't know if
that's the big change.
Has...
That's the big change with quarterback contracts, is that the quarterback now is accounting for way more of the salary cap allocation than it did.
And on top
in
of
the
that,
past.
and we have to see what the guaranteed at signing versus the overall guarantees are. But I would say at some point, their owner is going to have a hard time funding that escrow account, especially after you paid Trey Hendrickson, you paid Orlando Brown Jr., you're going to have to pay Chase or T. Higgins. You're not going to be able to pay both. Joe Mixon's got a ton of money tied up there. They signed Logan Wilson to a decent contract. Like, it's adding up, and I don't know if he's going to be able to pay the bill. And so I think that the team's going to suffer from that. And Joe Burrow is a guy that is fully supporting cast dependent. And he's not the same guy when he has trash around him. So I think that it's going to look horrible. I think that it has the potential to play out like the Flacco contract, where it wasn't all Flacco's fault. Flacco didn't take that huge step forward and wasn't able to carry a lesser supporting cast. And then there were some injuries. Joe Mixon's kind of going downhill like Ray Rice was. Again, like he's not good anymore, and he's threatening to shoot women and potentially shooting kids on his property. Like, I don't think that guy's there much longer.
I mean,
Again,
he was almost gone this year, but he
if
took
he
a
didn't,
significant pay cut.
right, and on top, and his play warranted the pay cut. And again, you take T. Higgins out of that offense, like Tyler Boyd's really not that good. He's okay as a wide receiver 3, but you put him as a wide receiver 2. I don't know about that.
We know all too well if you take wide receivers and you put them out of their depth, they
Right.
they
If
get
you take a
exposed
wide
very
receiver
quickly.
3, yeah. You take a wide receiver 3 and you expect him to be a wide receiver 2, it's a problem. You take a wide receiver 2, expect him to be a wide receiver 1, it's a problem.
Right.
And Jamar Chase has been somewhat injury prone. So
Yeah.
again, like I'm sure he's waiting for Justin Jefferson to get paid, and that's what he's going to ask for. So again, you're looking at a guy who's going to want a shit ton of money, and I just don't know if that works out. On paper, you could. It's not a cap thing for them. For me, it's I don't know if their owner has enough cash to do that.
Well, it
This is
eventually,
not
and no matter what, it eventually does become a cap thing.
right, but I think
that's a common problem. Everybody who has a good
Yeah.
quarterback has that same problem. That's so
right. They pay guys who are cap nerds that can figure out how to manipulate this stuff. So I have no doubt in my mind that the Bengals can field a decent team while still paying Joe Burrow that kind of money from a cap standpoint, but it's from a cash flow standpoint. They're the lowest valued franchise in the NFL for a reason. They're clearly not pulling in a ton of ticket sales, and they may sell out that stadium every time, but clearly Cincinnati's not a rich city by any stretch of the imagination. They're not, they're just not bringing in money. And I think that at some point that's going to come back to bite them. I think that that's going to be a fucking horrific contract. And also, again, the Bengals deserve nothing but that. Their fan base, fucking hyping up a Super Bowl loss like it was the greatest achievement of the 21st century is ridiculous. And this is what you get for hyping that up, is that you then have to pay Joe Burrow this kind of money for a good season that you got lucky that there was a bunch of teams that were hurt. You got lucky that Ryan Tannehill handed you a game in the divisional round, and that you just squeaked by with a win because your kicker was on a fucking, thought he was Justin Tucker for a while. And you got your fucking teeth kicked in the Super Bowl. And then last year, again, they got exposed as not being that good. I don't think that they're that good of a team. And I think that they've overachieved for 2 years, and they're kind of due for a regression of sorts. And giving Joe Burrow that kind of money is going to end up being a huge mistake, I think.
Well, okay. They have to pay him. They had to pay him no matter what.
I agree, because you put yourself in a rock and a hard place of, you hype this guy up as your fucking next Tom Brady, he's Joe Burr, and your fucking social media account tweets nothing but cringe videos of him walking in his, fucking leopard spotted suits and Cartier glasses. Like, again, you did this to yourself. You put yourself in this spot, but now it's the same thing as the Ravens with Joe Flacco of they didn't pay him and he won a Super Bowl, so they had to pay him.
Right. Well, and now, it's funny. He's better than Andy Dalton, but he's not that much better than Andy Dalton. If we're being really honest, Andy Dalton was a pretty good quarterback when right. So, realistically speaking, they did pay Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton wasn't making like he wasn't breaking any records or anything.
I think he was like a top 10 paid quarterback in the NFL.
Which was fair for how he
played.
Because
I would say that he was probably a top 15 quarterback, but there were 5 quarterbacks on the list ahead of him that were on their rookie deals, so he was making more than the guys on their rookie deals. That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah. And Joe Burrow, like I said, he is better than Andy Dalton, but he's not. They talk about him like he's a Hall of Famer today, and
they talk about like he's Joe Montana.
If he continues to play the way he has the past 2 years, he'll probably then okay, fine. But we saw what he looked like like we were talking about supporting cast dependency, and when he didn't have Jamar Chase, it was a much different Joe Burrow.
When you pay a quarterback that kind of money, he needs to be an MVP contender. And he needs to be winning you games with his arm. And Joe Burrow does not win them games with his arm. And that's really all it boils down to.
He's got Aaron Rodgers' confidence, but with Jared Goff's ability.
Right. My first introduction to German Tiger was because I made that comparison to Jared Goff.
It's a very accurate comparison. And what happened to the Rams when they paid Jared Goff? They started losing guys.
They went to shit. They became a defensive
They went to
team.
shit because he wasn't able to win games with his arm like they thought he was going to be able to. He had that MVP-ish season where they made the Super Bowl, and then he continued to regress from there. And that's, I think, what you're going to see out of Joe Burrow if they start losing people around him. I mean, I can't imagine that their offensive line is all locked up long term. You just signed a fucking turnstile at left tackle who, refuses to go back to the position that he's the lead at and wants to be a left tackle because, apparently his dead dad's ghost told him to be a left tackle. So, good luck to you, you fucking furry weirdo. Like, have fun with the Skyline Chili people in Kansas City. But, that's
with your foxtail butt plug.
Yeah, your foxtail butt plug, you fucking freak. I'm so glad that the Ravens did not pay him. I did not realize that he was that fucking weird. But that's your cornerstone left tackle. I don't think that they really have any like rookies on the offensive line. I think most of the guys that they have filling in there, like La'el Collins, who's pretty well paid.
I think he's on IR, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm saying that like he's a veteran. He's not not a guy on a rookie contract. Alex Kappa, I'm pretty sure, is a veteran that they brought in.
Well, and just to be clear, they traded for La'el Collins last year, didn't they? Did they trade for him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
no, they signed him because the Cowboys cut him, I believe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I thought they gave up a low pick, but yeah, whatever. I mean, they could
may have been a comp pick or something like that. But but then the next year go out and sign Orlando Brown Jr. So it's like So I mean, they're desperately trying to shore up an offensive line. That the offensive line is why they lost. They got pushed around in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Jonah Williams, I think, might be on his rookie contract, but he's got to be up soon, And I think he's their starting right tackle. So are they going to pay him a ton of money? I can't imagine. Is that Jackson Carman still their right guard? I know that he was a starting offensive lineman for them last year, and that might have been
what's the guy's name? Karras.
Ted Karras. I think he's their backup center,
right?
Yeah, I think. Oh my God, I just said his name fucking 5 seconds ago. Alex Kappa. I think
Alex
he's there.
Kappa. That's what I was thinking of. Alex Kappa.
Yeah, so I think he's their starting center, but I think that Jackson Carman guy somehow factored in their offensive line last year. And again, like he's a Ben Powers type guy, which maybe he has a year and pops off, but I can't imagine he does. Never really seen that good. So their offensive line is not great. Fucking tight end room is meh. I don't think that they're as good as people make them out to be. A lot of people are, giving them the AFC North easily, and I don't think that's the case.
No, me neither. I think, honestly, I think they're in sort of like a dogfight for the second best roster in the division with the Browns.
And so the Steelers are good, but are they that good? I don't know. I mean, they're average everywhere, I guess is my point with the Steelers.
Yeah, they don't impress me. Nothing about them.
They're not. The TJ Watt is their best player. That's fine. You can call him an elite pass rusher. He's also an elite douchebag and fucking dirty player. So fine, you can, and he's also injury prone. He's a Watt, so he's going to get hurt.
Yep,
just going to happen. Minka Fitzpatrick is very good, but he's kind of he's a gambler. And so he's going to get burnt over the top sometimes. He's going to make some great interceptions too, but he's going to get himself out of position. He's going to get beat a couple times. The defensive line's getting old. Like Casey Hayward's pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
He's not the same guy. Their offensive line has not been great for the last couple of years. Najee Harris is going to, break down at some point. Like you keep giving him 300 touches. Like he's just not going to be able to handle that at some point. It's going to fall apart.
Their first round pick, the guy they drafted from Georgia, he's not even in their starting lineup. Still that dude Dan Moore, so yeesh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're very average everywhere, but they're also not elite anywhere. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens is a middle of the road wide receiver 1 and 2. Deontay Johnson is kind of underrated and George Pickens is really overrated, so they kind of balance out to average there, I would say.
Yep.
And again, you look at the Browns, Myles Garrett's a fucking freak. Their defense has some interesting pieces like Denzel Ward when he's healthy is probably a top 10 cornerback in the NFL, but he's rarely healthy. They got that kid from Notre Dame they drafted a couple years ago, the JOK. I don't know how to say his actual. I don't know how to say his actual name. Yeah, he's an interesting piece that you put in your front seven of, can kind of do everything. They have Nick Chubb. He's great. They have Amari Cooper. He's great when healthy. They have, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is a pretty underrated NFL wide receiver. But again, they got some holes there on the offensive line, and they've had to take some hits because they need to hold, their $28 million in cap space right now, because otherwise they'll be $28 million over the cap next year if they're not rolling shit over. So, you pay a, fucking Bill Cosby, fanboy or Bill Cosby copycat, that kind of money.
Mr. Happy Ending.
Yeah, you're gonna put your team in a shit spot. And so again, they got holes there. Like I feel like this is the Ravens division to lose because they're the most complete roster top to bottom. And a lot of your questions about the Ravens are, can they stay healthy? And does this new offensive system work? It's not so much about the players and again, I would say our biggest question on the offensive line is left guard because you really don't know what John Simpson is. He's looked good, he's looked the part, and playing between Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley should help him a lot. But is he good there? I don't know. I think he could be fine. We've kind of proven that you can plug a lot of people into that left guard position and they can succeed. Is Ronnie Stanley going to stay healthy all year? I hope so. But that's kind of your biggest question there on the offensive line is Ronnie Stanley's health. Your biggest question at wide receiver is you can sustain Bateman or Beckham going down, but I don't think you can sustain both of them going down. I also don't think any team is built to have, two of their top three wide receivers go down and survive that. Lamar hasn't finished the season in 2 years, and I think that they were both free plays in the pocket, and that's fine. You can point that out, but it's also, again, like if he finishes the year, we're fine because we've been fucked without him. Your running back room is kind of weird where your running back one, you're actually better when he's not getting workhorse carries. So again, is J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell's going to be back in 4 weeks, and Justice Hill. Like that's a pretty solid running back room, and you got Melvin Gordon waiting on your practice squad, so really no questions there. Your tight end room's pretty deep. Vokalek's back on practice squad, and then you got Kohler, likely, and Andrews. Like I feel like you can make that work regardless if anybody goes down. And then defensively speaking, you got a lot of corners. As long as you have 3 or 4 of them healthy at any given time, you're fine. Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton's potentially the best safety duo in the NFL. Roquan and Patrick Queen's the best linebacker duo in the NFL. Your front seven is young, but has got a lot of potential to it. Again, like people love to shit on Owe and Ajabo, but those two guys are fucking freaks of nature. Always a physical freak, and Ajabo is just a fucking sack artist when he's healthy. And Travis Jones, Matabike, and Broderick Washington are great guys on the front seven. Michael Pierce is kind of like your anchor in the middle there. The Ravens are just built for success is really what it boils down to. So I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty excited for this year coming up, and I feel like the AFC North is ours to lose, and I feel like we're kind of in the best position to really compete here. And I don't know if any other team. What the fuck was that play call?
Terrible play.
Holy shit!
One of the worst plays I've ever seen.
Why do you have your third string tight end taking that snap? What are you doing?
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Offense. That was a Greg Roman play call right there.
That was
a
really,
Greg Roman play call.
I felt like I was watching the Ravens last year.
That is something that Mark Andrews would have turned around and tossed that ball to Lamar Jackson, or he would have handed it off to Devin Duvernay running that fucking sweep play instead of Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is like 6'3" and ran like a 4.6 40. It's not even like a burner that you try to run an end around for. Not even the right guy in that. Like that's you give that to Tony, I would say, if you're going to do it to anybody.
Tony's
and Tony hasn't worked
times,
tonight, but that's the right guy to do that play with. So yeah,
him or Richie James or someone with speed.
Yeah,
Sky Moore.
But yep.
Sky Moore. Yep.
Well, something to consider. The Chiefs do have a new offensive coordinator in what's his face?
True.
Nagy.
Matt Nagy. He's not new though. He's new. He's new this year, but he's not new to them.
No, not at all. He's just bringing the terrible play calling he brought with him from the Bears over here now.
That actually does remind me of something that you would have seen, like Mitch Trubisky, run that play.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. Yeah, that was not a smart play call.
No,
that was shockingly bad.
They needed less than 1 yard there.
I was kind of like rambling to myself there, and I was like, "What the fuck are these two people staring at?" And then that play popped up on my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad.
That was very bad.
Yeah.
Very.
Visionless Dave is probably screaming at his dogs right now.
Losing his shit right now. Visionless Dave is coming to Massachusetts at the end of the month, so I feel like I'm gonna have to go find him and I don't know, hold them accountable for some Chris Jones takes and Lamar Jackson training camp takes.
Yeah.
Maybe pull a zone 32 man on the street, just fucking hunt him down and stick a camera in his face and see if he has the balls to answer the questions.
There you go. Well, before we wrap it up and get out of here tonight, since it is the beginning of the season, I'll ask the two of you, who are the Ravens beating the Super Bowl this year, man?
Eagles.
So I had a very non-biased list. The NFL posted, who was going to win MVP, OPOY, all that shit. Who was going to win the NFC. My answer to that was doesn't matter because they're going to lose to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. So I don't care. You can put any feel-good story you want there in the NFC. They're going to get their fucking shit kicked in by the Ravens in the Super Bowl. So I mean, realistically, I would like to be. I don't know. I keep saying 49ers rematch. Like I feel like that's boring to me. Fuck Philly. Like I don't want them to have anything nice. Philly's full of scumbags. Like that whole city can go fuck themselves.
Detroit could be fun.
Yeah,
Detroit
but
would be fun.
What is this like the battle of that's like a third world country, Detroit. Like they don't deserve anything nice.
That's true. That's fair. The Giants.
Detroit Dan. Yeah, we could have Clem on here for that again.
Yep.
I mean, the Giants basically like are like Ravens cast-offs.
Yeah.
You could have Wink versus Munkin, and you could have McDonald, battling against what the fuck's his name? The fucking guy who looks like me. Dable. So
yeah. I mean the Cowboys are a popular pick too.
Oh, actually I'd love the Cowboys because I would just shit on Grant about Jerry Jones for fucking 4 weeks straight. You really think the Cowboys are going to win enough playoff games though to get to the Super Bowl?
If they don't see the Niners immediately, yeah, I could see it. The Eagles is kind of a toss-up one because it's a division thing. They always kind of go back and forth with each other.
I think the Bengals have more. I think the Bengals have more playoff wins since 2000 than the Cowboys do. I'm fairly positive.
Yeah, because of that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, but again, that's,
now.
So Cowboys are really not a playoff team. I would also love for the Packers to make like a Super Bowl run this year. Make the Super Bowl without Aaron Rodgers. That would just be very funny to me.
What do you think about Seattle as sort of like a sleeper?
Yeah, so is Geno Smith legit, or was that kind of like a?
That's the question.
That is the big question.
Does Jackson Smith and Jigba come back, sooner rather than later and look good?
The word is he's supposed to play this week.
So I thought it was like week 2 or 3 they were targeting for his return.
Yeah, there's rumor he might be out there week 1. I mean,
if he's out making an impact, then yeah, I could see that. Like he's he makes Geno Smith's life a lot easier because now he's got Noah Fant, fucking DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba to throw to. Like that's a pretty solid, group there.
Very solid.
Decent offensive line too.
Vikings are another one that could factor in. I mean, they have a very good team.
You got Hawkinson, Addison, and Jay Jettas. Madison looked fine in all his carries before, so I don't think they're going to have a huge drop off from Dalvin Cook.
And didn't they sign Jamal Williams too?
Yeah, they.
No, that was the Saints. The Saints signed Jamal Williams.
And I was going to mention the Saints too. We're going to have a pretty easy run through their division. They're definitely the best in the division.
Shout out Harrison P. Kent. Derek Carr is the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. So
yeah,
I don't know. By his analytics.
I mean, the Saints are without question the best team in the NFC South.
Yeah, and they're going to miss Kamara for 6 games he's out for?
Yeah,
I think. But once he comes back again. Is it 3? I don't remember. I don't know what he actually got suspended for.
I think you're right. I think it's 3.
Yeah. I know that it was like, it was conduct.
He beat someone up right before the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but I don't know, they kind of willy-nilly enforce those rules. I mean, again, like Deshaun Watson was barely suspended for 26 pending sexual assault charges. So,
yeah,
Roger Goodell's not really great at, equal justice there. So, I didn't, 3 games fine. So he comes back week 4, like, that gives them enough time. Again, Michael Thomas might be healthy this year for once. They have Olave.
Don't count on
it. No, but I'm saying so if he's your wide receiver, if you're not expecting him to be 2019 Michael Thomas, where he's catching, 130 or 140 balls, and he's truly your wide receiver too, and he's kind of opening things up deep for Olave, that could be a problem. Derek Carr, again, is his eyeliner, fixed? Is his back fine? Then, maybe he's okay. And NFC is weird this year. I kind of think about it, there's really not a bona fide favorite, I don't think, out of the NFC. I think people people default to the Eagles because they won last year, but
the Eagles the Eagles really haven't lost anything from last year, and they've added to it. So I think the Eagles are the logical pick. Oh my God, Tony just dropped another wide open pass down the field. No, I think the Eagles are by far the most complete team in the NFC. The 49ers would be the favorite, I think, if not for the fact that Purdy is basically coming off Tommy John surgery, and he, was like what?
And then Sam Darnold is their backup. Like,
Yeah. So that's a
That
big
was-
question there.
trading Trey Lance was a fucking bizarre move for them.
I don't think they had a choice
Not-
really, but
Not enough people are talking about that. They basically traded, I think it's Micah Parsons, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill for Trey Lance.
It was Bradley
And
Chubb.
then
It was Bradley Chubb.
It's Bradley
Yeah.
Chubb. Oh, okay, so it's Bradley. Regardless, those are three legitimate players that they could have had with those picks, and then they traded those
Would've
to
helped
take
them a
Trey
lot,
Lance.
too.
Where they traded them to take Trey Lance, and then they turned around and traded Trey Lance for what, a fourth or a fifth?
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, no, I think
horrible.
it's basically the NFC is the Eagles are all alone as the favorite in the NFC, and then Dallas and San Francisco are in that second tier, and then it's a
And
whole
so,
bunch
yeah,
of teams in the next tier.
And you look at San Francisco, they're going to choke in the playoffs. That's what Kyle Shanahan does best.
Right.
I don't know what round it's going to be in, whether it's the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game, could be the wild card game.
Yeah.
Or wherever the fuck they're playing, they're apt to choke. Dallas doesn't win playoff games. Dak Prescott's not a playoff winning quarterback. So even you look at like these favorites, I feel like the Eagles kind of got lucky last year with the fact that they were playing a team with no quarterback in the NFC Championship game.
Definitely.
Because I think that if Purdy is healthy for that game, I don't think Purdy's this great quarterback or anything like that,
Well,
but that
yeah,
makes them.
It
They couldn't throw
definitely.
the ball.
No,
He had
yeah,
no
but
elbow.
He would have been
and-
better than Christian McCaffrey.
But and to be fair though, the Eagles are the ones who, with their pass rush, knocked him out of the game, hurt his elbow.
Right, but I guess my point is that like you can say that the Eagles are the odds-on favorite because they made it last year and they didn't get any worse, but also they had some luck. The ball bounced their way a couple times last year. That
They
sort of
got
helped them
better,
out a
but
little.
they didn't just not get worse. They got better. Like they had a good draft. The Eagles
fair.
got better. Yeah, and they got what's the dude they got from Detroit? Swift. So they upgraded, I think.
Yeah,
in
but
a lot of ways.
Swift is going to get arrested for that double murder according to Reddit at any point. So
They picked up Rashad
I
Penny,
mean,
too,
wasn't
from the
wasn't that
Seahawks.
murder supposedly in Philadelphia too?
yeah. Oh, also, so Chiefs lose tonight. Is that because Chiefsaholics in prison?
It's got to be.
Chiefs haven't lost a game since when he was on the run. All of a sudden, he's in federal custody. What the fuck was that throw, Mahomes?
Fourth and 20.
Yeah.
Should we got to stay live.
Yeah, we gotta stay live.
DJ Gardner Johnson should have had a pick. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Oh,
What is this? Is this a
Trevor.
fucking false start?
I don't know. I'm behind.
Oh my god.
Will, press your play-by-play. Let's go. We gotta get ready for the PSF debut, week 2.
They false started on 4th and 20.
4th and 25. That's fine at that point. 4th and 20. You gotta get to 4th and 26. That's
NFL
the
blitz
next
down,
window.
baby. NFL blitz midway.
Oh, so this play comes back. Yep. Okay.
Okay, this looks like it's going to be some kind of Patrick Mahomes magic. Oh, nope.
Okay.
I mean, they have 3 timeouts, and it's a 2-minute warning right now on the change of possession. So the game is not over.
It still hasn't happened on my screen yet, so maybe the outcome changes. Hold on. You never know. I'm still seeing a replay of the false start. Yeah, 74. There's nobody in front of you. How do you false start? in this
Yeah, he
situation?
false started against air.
against air. There's literally nobody there. All right, so Mahomes takes the snap, passes the
Ugly.
ball, runs
Ugly
around
as
the pocket, rolls out across his body, heaves it into traffic, and nobody catches it.
Yeah.
Guy Moore should have caught that ball though. That should have been a first down.
Probably.
That went right through his hands. That's pretty terrible.
That would have been the luckiest first down of the game.
Well, it sucks
I
for
will say
him
that.
because he made a good catch for a first down that
This sucks for me
came
because there's
back
no
on holding. So,
I mean, they're in field goal range now. So
oh yeah,
my -5.5 is dead here. Thanks a lot, you Kermit the Frog sounding motherfucker.
unless I mean if they go conservative and they get bottled up and they lose a couple yards,
Should we just hang out and live commentate the last 2 minutes of this game?
sure.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. Might as well.
I got a nice Ford truck commercial going on in the background right now.
Yeah, I got this shit in Spanish.
Ford F-150. Chibs wishes he had something with that towing capacity.
There you go.
100% assembled in
some
America.
I had
Said he
some
buys
Mexican
them.
Walmart commercial on right now.
Yeah, see, we're all getting different ads. I didn't get the F-150.
Meet patriotic Kenny and Amanda. Some guy doing wheelchair races. All right.
I'm on a Subway commercial.
I'm assuming he's deaf. This is a TikTok. Oh, now I got Patrick Mahomes Subway commercial.
All right. Yeah, so the other ones were
I got-
local.
Now sliced fresh.
Yeah,
In case
and
you're
now
I
wondering.
got
the next one's gonna
this
be
one a day shit. This one a day
Honda.
shitter medication. I don't know. This Rinvoq.
CRV.
And I'm still on the Subway commercial. Use code FLBOGO. And now I got Jason Tatum. Oh no, it's still Subway.
Apparently,
3 foot long. Peacock commercial. Fast
Yep.
and Furious 47. They're advertising for.
I'm seeing Notre Dame now.
this is a
Still
video for
Fast and
irritable.
Furious.
This is a commercial for irritable bowel syndrome. It's got to be.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Peacock, you got movies. Congratulations. Fuck you, Xfinity, for
What?
taking away my
Asteroid
premium
City?
Peacock. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We've already been over this.
All right. Well,
Oh, what's up, John Wick?
I must have gotten some kind of like, you know,
It's
targeted,
just I'm just
targeted marketing because my Peacock
Oh.
commercial was a Notre Dame commercial.
Yep.
I thought the Peacock
now we're
game.
on
I don't know if you watched the Michigan one last week, Eastern Carolina. That was one of the worst fucking like broadcasts I've ever watched in my entire life.
I didn't see any of it.
The amount of advertisements for the Super Mario movie that I saw were sickening. My son
Oh,
loves the
boy.
Super Mario.
I still
movie,
never
so
watched that
yeah,
movie.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got an NBC The Found commercial. All right, now I'm back live.
Oh, game's back on.
Same. How many times have they
Randolph
shown Travis
Montgomery.
Kelce on the sideline?
I mean, this fucking creepster mustache and shit.
Tom has proclaimed that Kadarius Toney is worse than Jugs James.
Ooh.
Woof. Tag Grant. See if he's
Well,
alive and he
that's
could
where he
tweet from
said.
the afterlife.
Tom came in and said, "Where the fuck is Grant? Grant's been lying in here for years about this dude."
I mean, sometimes broken clock's right twice a day, and sometimes Tom is right. So,
True.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Fucking A.
Oof.
oh, never mind. That was I thought
What
Mahomes
the fuck you
just
doing
threw
the
another
Steph
pick
Curry
six.
shit for with fucking chewing on his mouth guard? Like a little bitch.
All right.
Every time
yeah,
Mahomes
that-
throws
I mean,
like a horrible incompletion or shit, he just fucking like throws his hands up like, why the fuck did that just happen? It's like, I don't know. You threw it 15 yards past your wide receiver.
all right, I'm gonna pause mine so that we're on the same. So tell me when you see when they're showing Dan Campbell on the sideline going into third down.
All right, they
Now.
just ran on 2nd and 5. I'll tell you when they flash over to Dan Campbell. All right, they flash over to Dan Campbell.
Okay.
147 left on the clock.
Yep.
Just called the second timeout.
All right. Where are you? Hold on. When the
3rd
play
and 2.
clock. Yeah, when the play clock starts, I want to see how far apart we are.
It still hasn't started for me. It's showing 25.
Yeah, me too. Goff is undefeated versus Mahomes.
Just started for me.
I just literally just showed that like a half second after you said it. So
All right.
Still hasn't started for me yet. Play clock.
They're about to go.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, it just started. Goff's under center.
First down.
Hand off. Hand the ball to Gibbs. Fuck. I need fancy points here.
Right.
Fuck. And
That's going to
I
be a
think
frustrating backfield this fantasy
Oh.
season.
Chiefs. This is gonna be a loss for the Chiefs.
Yep.
fucking bet on Patrick Mahomes and I get fucked.
Yep.
What cunt.
All because
Fucking
he's missing
Wallace
Travis
looking
Kelce.
bitch. Travis Kelce sucked. If you're the highest paid at your position, shouldn't you show up for week 1 and play, regardless of how hurt you are?
Probably should.
I'm just asking.
The rumor
This is
was-
like
Right.
visionless Dave questions here.
Yep, that's right. That is right. He did say that. Yeah, if you're gonna miss first practice, it's gonna fuck up your Super Bowl chances, man.
Yep.
Travis Kelce missed
Missing
the
the
first
first
game,
game.
baby.
It's pretty bad. Chris Jones is there. Dan Campbell's
He's
celebrating
watching as
that
a
they won
bystander, which is
already.
weird.
This is bad. Lions are going to
Wait, there's
fumble. Blow this. Lions are going to fumble and blow this. Watch. They're celebrating.
Oh,
on
do the
sideline
whole,
like they won.
They're gonna fumble on
Miracle at the
fucking-
Meadowlands.
the victory
Yeah.
formation.
Yep. Watch. They're going to fuck this up somehow.
That's happened before with the Chiefs game. Go back, what,
Jared Goff's
11,
acting like
12
they won.
years? Fucking Chargers. I think it was on Halloween. It was second down. Phillip Rivers muffed the snap when they were trying to do a kneel down, and the
This
Chiefs
is-
recovered
this is
and they won the game.
This is a bit much. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, be excited you beat the Chiefs. I get it, but really, Kadarius Toney lost this game for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, bar none.
This little shithead with a mullet, and his dad's fucking recording like he's watching them win Super Bowl. Fuck off.
It's like he's seeing the fucking moon landing or some shit.
Yeah.
Like some
Like, oh
historic
my
event.
god, the Lions won a game.
And to be fair, I mean they are the Lions. I mean, good for them now. They're like,
You're
yeah,
in, you're
the
in Lions
Lions
country.
player.
No, you're in Kansas City. You're not in Lions country.
Actually, you know what's kind of ironic about this? The Chiefs did this exact thing in New England, week 1. It was the Goodell
2017, the
Pete
Kareem
Goodell-
Hunt team, right?
the towel game.
The clown towel game.
Yeah.
Do you see the guy with the Lions Super Bowl bound sign in fucking
What?
block text, like
Look at-
Times New Roman?
Andy Reid's like, all right, let's get in the locker room. I'm hungry.
I'm gonna go commit a DUI and kill a kid like my son.
Yep, that's right.
This is the kind of commentary you'll get during the live streams, for the record.
That's absolutely right.
Oh, good. All right, Jake, it's time for you to die.
Yeah,
Like you
die.
said.
It is time. Well,
Before Drew says
that's
something
gonna do
else.
it. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Zone 32. We'll be back next week to recap the game, discuss this, that, and the other. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
Zone 32.